ClickUp Dashboards have to be one of the most popular features within the platform. There are still some very exciting ways that you can put them to work inside of your business. Now, there are two types of dashboards within ClickUp that you can use. One is called a more simple dashboard, which is built within the list views. And then you have what we're used to, which is the main dashboard area. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use the dashboard so that you can really capture the visibility that you need and introduce reporting of key data from your workspace so that you can really start to make data-driven decisions. If you're new here, my name is Nicola Melinda. I'm a verified ClickUp consultant, and so this is what I do day in, day out, is helping businesses to understand how to leverage the power of ClickUp so that they can really get the most out of it for their business. Now, the good news about using the dashboards inside of ClickUp is that you can have access to the dashboards even on the free plan. Now there may be some limitations for the amount of uses for the dashboards and also for some of the cards that you would have access to add to your dashboards. However, you still can use much of the fundamental features to create a robust reporting dashboard for yourself. Now, there's a variety of use cases for the dashboards that you can tap into, such as sales, marketing dashboards, team management, project tracking, and other bespoke options. And it may not necessarily be just around reporting, it could be adding in dashboards to manage production workflows and even client portals. I have a video on the channel which I can link to share with you how you can set up your own client portal using the ClickUp dashboards. But the first rule of any dashboard inside of ClickUp is that you do need to understand what the purpose is, what purpose it is actually going to serve you. So if we're focused mainly on reporting, you do need to understand what type of data do you need to have inside of your workspace to get the data that you want to see on the dashboard. So having an understanding of what that looks like and walking it backwards will really serve you well in getting the story told that you need to see. If it's a sales dashboard that you're creating, are you looking at revenue, pipeline? What data do you need to look at comparatively? And breaking that down visually, what also would be some good options for you to look at from a visual perspective as well. And so allowing yourself to walk through what those use cases will look like will help you to understand what data you actually need to put into ClickUp in the first place. And that data needs to be going in on a regular basis, because we're not just using the dashboards as a one-off, we're using the dashboards for ongoing reporting as well. So we always need to ensure that the data being put into the system is going to be consistent and accurate. And so that will give us the output that we need with the reporting side of things.
Right, so there are two ways where you can create a dashboard. So like I mentioned, you can create what ClickUp calls a simple dashboard. And you can do this from a list view. So you can go into any list view, whether it's in a folder or a list or space level, and select dashboard. Or you can actually create a dashboard from the sidebar view. So this would be in a folder and you can add in a dashboard here. But we're going to create a dashboard from the main dashboards area, which is found just on the left-hand side panel here. And the simple dashboard, if I just click on that, that will be the dashboard that will require you to select a location. So this is a dashboard that will be attached to a list or a folder, as I shared with you previously. In this regards, we would create just a new dashboard, and that would just show up exactly here in the dashboard, all dashboards area. So any dashboard that is created in the workspace will always show, even if it is assigned to another list or a folder, it will still show in that dashboard area. And then ClickUp will actually give you some template options before you get started. So if you do want to do a dashboard for like project management or for time tracking, you could get started with one of those templates. They've also got some AI dashboards as well, or you could choose to start from scratch and create your own dashboard from scratch. So what I'll do is we'll start from scratch, and as soon as you do that, you have to choose a card to apply to your dashboard to get started. So you've got a selection of cards, and the menu down the side will just show all the different categories of cards you can choose from. But if you scroll down as well, it will scroll through all of the different categories for you. So you don't necessarily have to just click in, but it's a good way for you to have a look through to see what is actually available in terms of options to add to your dashboards, and what you would want to use as well. You do also have the option to embed and use embedded views from a custom embed to Google Docs or Sheets, YouTube, and also bringing in views from other apps as well, such as Google Drive, for example. You can bring in all of these views into ClickUp, into your dashboards. We're going to start with just a really simple task list, and we'll dive into the customization of these cards as well. So if we start with a task list, every time you apply a card to your dashboard, it's going to ask you to select where you're pulling this data from. So you could say from all spaces and pull in data from everywhere, but that doesn't really support what you are looking to do in terms of reporting. So reporting is always about specific granular data. So for this example, what we can do is say we want to pull in data. Let's pull it from our client delivery space, and we might just call this deliverables. So then we have the option to show the task locations if we want to have that on show, and we can also set up some filters as well. So we can filter based on all of the different options. We've got status, tags, due dates, priorities, and we can also filter based on custom fields that are within the workspace as well. If you know that custom field is applied to a particular project, so we could say project phase, and we might just say when that is set and use that as a filter. Then we could just add in that card. So whatever filters and options we put in place is going to show us, it's going to pull up that data. Now, something also to note is that the task cards, and you'll learn through trial and error that through some of these cards you'll just need to play with the settings. So in this example, let's separate out the subtask there, and so you do need to do a little bit more refining just to make sure you're really seeing the data that you need to see that's in place. And this will also come back to you knowing and understanding how your workspace has been set up as well. In this regards, we're also going to update the grouping. So currently it's been grouped by the list. We don't need to do that. And we don't necessarily need to group it by status either. So we can keep the grouping, keep it that way. And what you can see is it's pulled through a task list for us. And then we can add in some additional settings as well. We also have the option to add in some columns. So I can say that I want to put the status and add the status in this area instead. I can also decide that I want to customize my views and show the task locations, or I can say that I want to see the subtask parent name. So that would be the name of the actual project. Because these are deliverables, I just want to see the actual project. And I might put a filter in there to just say when a tag is not set, and that will filter out some more tasks for me as well. So there we have it. We have our first card in place. It's pulling through the data that we actually want to see and how we want to see it as well. Now that we're inside of our dashboard, let's just quickly walk through some of the additional settings here. So we have the title of our dashboard. So I'm just going to call this Demo Project Dashboard. So we have the title of that dashboard here. If this is a dashboard that you know you will be referring to for a period of time, you can always just set it as a favorite, and then it will sit within your favorite section for the for ease to access. Now, when you're in edit mode, that will be switched on, and then you can turn off edit mode so that nobody will come in here and mess with your dashboard as well. And auto refresh, this is a setting I do keep on because it just means that I don't have to keep remembering to refresh the data. So these dashboards, the data will always update in its own way. We'll come back to scheduling the reports and exporting and sharing your dashboards as well. So we'll come back to those features and how they work in a moment. So if we go back into the cards, there are a few different options, and I'll pull out some of my most recommended options as well that you can definitely make use out of. The first thing is from a visualization perspective, being able to add in graphs, pie charts, calculation fields, all of these very beneficial to building out sufficient dashboards. So if you're building out your charts, then again, you need to understand what the data is that you're really trying to look at. So if we're looking at our projects, let's just say that we're going back to our client delivery, we want to put our projects in place, we want to be able to see how they are performing. We might just say our status, so we've got our status and the number of tasks. We want to see how many tasks are in a particular status. And we might say what statuses we actually want to see. So if we only want to see the active and not started statuses, then we could just track that. And then it's how much we want to measure that by. So do we want to measure that by the number of tasks, which might be the most popular? You want to see how many tasks do we have that are still in progress or that are perhaps, falling behind. And then we could decide how we want to group those. So we could group those based on the assignee. You don't have to group them as well. You could group it based on project phase again, so we could group that. So if we did it based on assignee as an example, we can see how that will pull up as well. So we can add that card, and again you can see that it's going to start pulling the data, collating the data and pulling it through for us. We can see here when we hover over, it's now going to show us the split of tasks. So we've got 18 tasks in the to-do status, and we have 15 on one person and 3 on another person. Then we can see that we've got 3 tasks that are in progress as well. And if the data is not showing the way that you need it to, then that's an indication of, do I need to filter down the location of where the data is coming in? Do I need to update any of these settings? So we've got a few statuses that aren't necessarily required. So what we will do is go back into the data source, and we'll actually be a bit more intentional about where we're pulling this data from. So instead of it pulling from all of my lists, not all of these are to do with deliverables. Some of these are just for client management. So I'm going to intentionally select the data from the list that I want to see that data from. So I'll select it from all of our project lists, any of the lists that have deliverables that we'll be working on. I'm going to pull the data through from there. So now you can see we've updated, we've got 6 locations. It's adjusted the number of tasks, so it's come down a little bit, and also our statuses have been adjusted as well. We can also just go in and select what statuses we need to see. So let's see, we've got to do, in progress, review, pause, and just make sure that they're all showing as we need them to. And we'll do one more example, and another key example could be the calculation field. So perhaps you just want to have an indication of how many tasks you have actually closed out. We'll just click on the delivery space and we'll measure the task count, but we'll filter this and we'll do it based on the status that is completed, what's been closed, and let's filter it based on the due date, and we can do this based on when the due date was in the last 7 days, let's say. And also remember to title the cards that you are using. So we'll go ahead and add that calculation field, and again it's going to collate how many tasks were closed in the last 7 days. So that's going to give us our number there. That's our calculation field. So this particular card is great across tracking how many open deliverables, closed deliverables that you have, etc, etc. Now, something we touched on before is that you can also use embedded views inside of the dashboard. So if there's other data that you want to bring into the dashboard that will be beneficial for you to be able to utilize, you can use embedded views. You can actually embed views from other areas of ClickUp as well. So as an example, let's go into our workspace And I'm going to go to my all tasks area, which is essentially the everything view, but our all tasks area, and pull up our workload view. Now, let's just say that we want to keep a track of all of our projects and deliverables, but we also want to be able to see our workload view, and I don't want to have to click back into my workspace to do that. I'd just like to see it in one place. So what we can do is just click on the top here, go to copy link to view. Let's take that link and let's go back into our dashboards. We'll find our project dashboard that we've just created, and I'm going to create a card here. And we'll go to the embeds, and this will be a custom embedded view. So we're just going to take that embedded view and we're going to paste the link in this view. So let's just call this workload view. Let's add this card in. Okay, so we have this now loaded into the dashboard, so we can literally access now our workload view directly from this dashboard. I don't have to now go back into my workspace to view the workload. It is here, and I can open and adjust and do all what I need to do straight from the dashboard. So if this is an area that you know is a little bit time consuming, just having to navigate back and forth, you can embed these views straight into your dashboards. Another feature in the dashboard cards are the AI cards. Now this is a new feature, and ClickUp is rolling out some really great AI tools that you can utilize in the platform. And so here you've got your AI cards, you've got AI Brain, stand up, team updates, executive summary, and a project update as well. So these are all ways where you can actually just use AI to summarize key updates for you. So if we use the project update in this example, we can add this AI update into our dashboard, and what this will do is it will use this prompt, and you can say where the information needs to come from. So again, we'll select our location and the time period of what this update needs to cover as well. Now, this is really, really beneficial if you want to go ahead and use this for project updates with your clients, or even with your team, even as a project manager, just to understand what all the moving components have been. It's a great way to track the activity. So we can say in the last 7 days, what's been the update across the entire client delivery space. There's a lot of updates that have gone in, so it's going to analyze all of the changes and updates, and it's going to put that into a summary for you. So again, this is going to be updated to show you all the changes and shifts over the past 7 days. Now, of course, it is AI, so it's always going to put out wording that's maybe not quite the way you would put things in place, but it does save a lot of time. Instead of having to go through all of the different projects and folders and lists, it will collate all of that information for you. So if we scroll down, we can see that we've got our updates in terms of milestones that have been completed, pipeline progress, content creation. So it's put everything into headers. It's showing you what your team members have been doing, what they have created, what they've completed, and all of the updates. So you can get a view quite quickly by using these cards as to what's been updated, what's been actually going on, what work has been taking place inside of the workspace. And I think this is a massive value add when it comes to the dashboards. Now let's move on to sharing the dashboards. So there will be times where you may want to share the dashboards with your team members, and you might also have dashboards that you also want to share with your clients as well. If you are sharing your dashboards with anyone that is outside of your workspace, you will need to invite them in as a guest at minimum, and they will need to have access to the lists or folders where the data is going to be shared. So if I was to share a client portal dashboard with a client, I would need to make sure that they are added to the client list so that they can see that data. But if you go to share at the top here, and you can invite someone just by email, So this could be an external party, or you could invite in your team members. When you invite them by email, it will pull up anyone that you do want to share that with. If I selected this individual, for example, and I want to just invite them there, then what I can do is just go to copy link, and I can share that link. So only people who have the permissions will be able to access the dashboard if they have that link. So I could take that link, put it into an email, and share that with the individual who has been invited to the dashboard. Another feature that came out this year for the dashboards was scheduling reports, and this is definitely a value add. So you can now download your dashboards as PDFs, and you can also schedule your dashboards to send out at a set day on a set time. So this is an automation that you can create. You can decide what this is going to be called. So it could just be your weekly project report. And you can say when this will go out. So it can go out daily, weekly, monthly. And you can customize how often this sends out as well, which is really helpful. So maybe you send your report out perhaps on Monday and Friday as like a wrap up. So where we're starting versus how we're ending the week. You can choose the time that it will send, and it will send out at your local time. So I'm in the UK, it's going to send out UK time, and you can choose when this starts, when the reports will start. So once you've set that up, then you can say who that report needs to go to and add in those email addresses, and it will send out. Now, when the report is sent, this is how it will come through. So we've done this on a project gap analysis report. It's going to show us that the report has been sent out. You can view the dashboard in ClickUp. So if the individual has access to ClickUp, they can just click the link. But if they don't, they have access to the PDF. So they can see the whole report in a PDF format. They can see all the updated data that they need to see. Now, this is a great way of you sharing reports. So if you do a lot of monthly updates, management reports, project reports for clients, and even internal team reports, and you want to pull that data, definitely utilize this feature because it will help you, and also you can save them down as they are PDFs. You will always have that audit trail to refer back to.
So there you have it. We have covered the key ways for you to utilize the ClickUp dashboards. And if you found this video to be of use to you and of benefit, please do drop a like and hit subscribe so that you can catch other videos that are added to the channel as well. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Take care for now.